guys, it's IsolatedArtz here today with a tutorial on creating your own personal script handwritten typography in Illustrator. So you just want to first off start getting in File, New, and setting your document as an A4 horizontal for mine. Just hitting OK, and I'm going to drag in some typography I did over Christmas. So I'm just going to drag that over to my document there. And you want to rotate it and scale it down so the size that you want. So I'm going to just scale it down like that, and I'm going to hit Ctrl R to bring the rulers and drag down a horizontal guide just to below this center of my document, and then clicking on my photo and just rotating it to create a baseline for my typography. This will be easier when it comes to working off it and create a better structure for the text. I'm just going to grab one and put it on the top of it as well, so that'll just give me a little guide to when I'm going around my type. And then what you want to do is change the opacity of your photo or your scan, and you want to go down to 30% or maybe less. You could go down for less, but I'm going to go 30%. And then you want to lock that layer and just create a new layer above it. I'm just going to call this layer G, because I'm going to just start off with a G. And what you want to do is just hit the pen tool and just start off by coming a bit closer to your typography and creating a point. And these points will help create it. I'm just going to change the color to black and get rid of the stroke. Just dragging up from your last point and using the anchors. The anchors are a good way of getting the right curves to your type. So I'm just going to drag that on, and you can move these anchors as well. So you just want to use them as if they're rotating around it, and just as you see, I'm using it just to go around there. Maybe that's a bit wonky, so I'm going to go on this direct selection and just pull it out a little bit maybe. What I do normally is I select my vector and I change it down to a lower percent, so I change it down to 60, so I can see behind it and just see where my template's guiding me. So after you've done that, you just want to start by going down, selecting it again because you've obviously unselected it. I'm just going to come down from that and go across there like that, changing the anchor again. So this typography is quite twisted and handwritten, so it's pretty good when you come to this, and kind of hard though because you've got a lot of lines to work from. So I think I'm just going to back up, just Ctrl Z, and just come out of there and go start from the point here, and then maybe finish off by doing that bit later on. So you just want to carry on from your point. I'm actually going to get rid of that point, and that way I can just carry on with the rest of it, the little tail of my typography. And I'm just going to curve that around, maybe make it a bit smoother by moving the anchor like so. Maybe pull it out a bit more. Yeah, that's fine. That's pretty cool. And now I'm just going to pull out the anchor by hitting Alt and just selecting the top one and just pointing it in the right direction I want to go. Maybe you want to angle it at a little angle, so maybe then when you're using your pen tool it will curve. If I pull that out again, it's already pulled out I think, and just drag over, you can see it starts more of a curve, and I'm just going to go around to there. And then what you want to do is, again, use an Alt to change your anchors, curving it around this one, so just like that. And again, selecting where you've kind of got to go with your template, but maybe if it's a bit incorrect you can change it, so that's a good thing about using Illustrator, I guess. I'm just going to go to this point down here. Maybe it's a bit uncurved at the side of it, so I'm just going to pull it out like that, then go back to my pen tool and just carry on from there. It's quite a long process, but it's really a nice way of creating your own typography. I know a lot of people can just go into font and just download their own, but I prefer, when it comes to it, creating your own is a lot more, I don't know, it just gives a lot more personal use to your work instead of using everyone else's, what they've created. It's all yours, it's all handmade, so it looks a lot better when it comes to your final. I'm just going to pull that right there, and I think that should be alright for the top bit. Maybe I'll change that a little bit later. I'm just going to use the anchor again to curve it around this part. I can do it that time. Like that. Going back over here. And sometimes you may see that it will like exceed where you're thinking of going, so you just want to go on your direct selection again and just hit Alt. No, just drag it in. Just use your, and it'll change both anchors, so it'll change one, the length of it, but it'll change it, keep the same direction. So that's a really good way of using it. Now I'm going to go back onto where I started from, where I carried on from, and I just want to drag this out like that, and just carry on that loop, connecting it back up to the G. Maybe pull that back out a little bit, like so. And that's looking pretty cool at the minute. We've got the right curve to the lines. What you want to do is, what you want to keep in mind of is keeping the right structure of your line, so maybe that don't go around a little bit, and you want to just pull that in a little bit like that. You just want to correct your littlest mistakes because it all adds up to the same thing, the same typography, so, and it always comes out with a better final when you do that. I'm just going to carry on around the G, the top of the G, like so. You can do really with any typography, but I just chose script because it's a lot more complicated and it comes out really nice at the end as well. I'm just going to go in a bit more on that, like there, and I'm going to curve that G a little bit more and pull it in maybe, and then carry on from where I set off. Pull out the anchor so it carries on the direction I want. So that's looking pretty cool. I'm just going to drag that in like that. Yeah, I like it. It's looking awesome. I'm going to drag that down a little bit, make it a bit thinner because it's looking a bit too thick. So there you've got a basic outline of your typography at the moment, and you can just go around and change any of that, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll change this a little bit. This needs pulling out a little bit like that. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool, and I'm gonna then go on to creating the little selections out of the type. So you just want to make a new color, so I'm going to use white, so that way it can see it's a bit more visible when you're going around. and just pulling over that, and it looks like you're cutting out, but at the moment you're not. So you just want to keep ensure that the thickness don't like come out or curve maybe, because that's really when it starts like fucking up. So just carry on from your template basically. Just use the template as your holy little grail and follow those guides across. I'm just going to pull that out a little bit because it don't look like it's curving around too much. And then I'm going to create one just at the bottom of here, like that. It's not on white, so I'm just going to change that back to white. It's a lot more visible when you do that as well. So, and then maybe pull this out. Just go down to the bottom of it, maybe select there, zoom out a little bit, and just carry on around that loop. Switch to black again, I don't know how to use doing that, and then go around and connect up there. I'm just going to change that by hitting Control and dragging in the anchor. Maybe I can pull this out a little bit more. Like that. I think that looks a lot better. So you can see already that you're starting to like bring out your typography, you're starting to make it happen. I'm going to also extend this a little bit as well. Just getting the right angles of the curve at the top of the G, and then this is going to be a bit more difficult to go around, so I'm just going to take a bit more time to go around it, trying to not waste too much time. And again it's gone. I'm just going to line that down so I can see the template again. Just so that I can see where my guides are. And again, changing the anchors to where I really want it and not where it wants to go. That's looking pretty cool. And going on to the middle bit. I'm going to do the little end of this, so I'm going on that. And it's typography, and the way doing it this way, it's a really good thing to get a hand of, because you can also do it in Photoshop and create your own typography when you're doing a banner or anything like that. So it's easy to, I don't know, create your own little images and icons and stuff like that. But Illustrator works it better, as you know, it uses vectors instead of pixels, so it's a lot easier when it comes to creating smooth typography. And I'm just going to connect that back up. Like that. But again, I'm going to lighten this down just so I can see the back. Like that. I'm going to change the anchor as well. Like that. And that's looking a bit too thick. So I'm going to pull that out a little bit. drag that anchor down. That's looking pretty cool. I'm just going to change that as well. And then what you want to do is go back on everything that you've made and make it 100% opacity, like that, like that. I'm just changing the G back to 100%, and you can see now that it's starting to come out. I don't like the curve of this, so I'm just going to change it. Maybe pull it up a little bit, turn it to the left. I'm using that curve. It's just, you've got to keep like adjusting it just to get it right. It's like a long process, but it really does look good if you spend a lot of time adjusting it and making sure everything's like correct. And so there's my G. I'm going to drag this bit down as well, so that carries on. That looks really nice, and I'm just going to go through the rest of the typography on myself and just pause it there so you guys don't have to wait too much time just for me to finish. And I'm just going to touch it up a little bit, going around the smoothness of it. But first you want to use these white bits and just select them by holding shift and just going around and selecting them all. But you want to make sure that you got your main selection on, so just make sure that you've got it on. Just go back on. Just select all your whites that you've made, and then after you've selected all your whites, then select your main text, and then you go over to your Pathfinder and you want to use the divide. I think it's divide, yeah, divide, and then go over to your layers and pull them down, and you can now delete away the white. If I just go back on that, just delete the white away, and it should delete it from your black like that. So that's looking pretty cool now. I really like it. There's a few curves on it that are maybe a bit dodgy, but I can change that when it comes to finishing it, and I can perfect that anyway. So yeah guys, I'll be back in a minute when this is all finished. I'm back guys, and I've gone around the typography, going around it again just to do all the edges and making sure it's all soft, and it kind of looks handwritten but thick with maybe some ink or something. So I'm just going to get rid of the background so you can see the typography like that. And what I'm also going to do is get rid of that, and I've got my typography in the centre there, so I can just select that now actually, and I'm just going to drag them all into one layer, just that way I have a bit more control on the actual all the typography. And I'm going to change the colour to, let's go with like a nice lime green. Actually, let's go for an orange, nice orange. So yeah, that looks very nice, like that. That still needs changing a little bit. Give it a bit more of a curve. Zoom back out and just select that. Actually, I'm just going to use the pick it tool and just click high, and you can select your colour. It's a lot easier when it comes to selecting colour. I'm just going to grab both of these actually, and again hitting I, selecting colour, and that's so I just wanted to do a tutorial on how you could maybe make your own sketching art and going over it. Maybe it takes a long time, but it's a lot more effective in the way it looks and the way the design represents itself. So yeah, cheers guys, it's been IsolatedArtz. I hope you all had a good year, and please leave a like and subscribe below if you want to see more tutorials like this. Cheers guys, peace.